And then I say, yo, what up? How's it going, buddy?
It's going good. It's been a pretty good day today. How about yourself?
I have been splendid. I've been splendid. Thanks for asking. So we've got Lady Nagant, and this is a really interesting Lady Nagant deck, and I'm excited for the pitch because I wanna hear what you got going on with it.
Yeah, so the thought process behind it was discarding cards. Ever since I saw Lady Nagant, my mind just went straight to borrowed goods. And that combo ability is pretty good. Just discarding a card for free.
Yeah.
Um, this card also in conjunction with Lady Nagant's form, I believe when you play the card from your stage, it counts as an attack and it combos with Blood Moon Rending, which also
Yes.
discards cards.
Yeah. Sadly, the attack, so this attack word here, it does look for printed, and this is not a printed attack, so this does not work. But I do have a solution, so we will be okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, continue the
yeah.
pitch. Continue.
Yeah, other than that, ever since Attack on Titan came out, I was looking at Unexpected Outcomes as a card. The Gaunt sort of gets to do the face down combos for free, but this card just seems like a better version at that, and it's a pretty big stat and move. I thought I'd test it out. I haven't tried it out in a game yet, but
Yeah.
it would be a good attack.
This card's neat. This card is super neat. I think at the bare minimum, it is a cool idea. And maybe it's not a 2 of, maybe it's just a 1 of like a neat gotcha card, but like it's just more discard hate.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So let's talk Blood Moon Rending to start, right? The first thing about the thing that we get to do is we just replace this with Try Gravity Beam. Because Try Gravity Beam says
doesn't look for printed.
It doesn't look for printed. It just says 2 other attacks. So this just works, right? And then if you've removed another card, it gets +2, but we don't actually care about that. It's just a 5 damage move, right? So I think that this is just supposed to not be Blood Moon Rending. It's just supposed to be Try Gravity. At that same...
Makes sense.
We'll cut
and it's still a range attack with Pressure by All for 1.
Correct. Yeah. It super works. The only thing that's like a little weird with it is Twin Sword Slicer. If you echo it, it doesn't register. And then this isn't a weapon for said Twin Sword Slicer, but I think that's okay.
Yeah.
But you could still go. You ready? You could even do something crazy like you go Twin Sword Slicer, echo, Nagant, play the move, Acid Screen. The face downs don't count, and even though this one isn't a weapon, you could still just play the Try Gravity Beam. This one's on a 4, 5, 6, 7, right? So this one's on a 5, this one's on a 7, and then you've got your 3 in there, and then you're off to the races. Right. And then when it comes to removing those cards from play to get the +2 damage, if they don't have a hand, we don't care how fast the move is. So we'll just give them minus speed and then kick them in the teeth. So my question for you, which is a question that I haven't been able to ask almost all night, is what do you actually need my help with? This list looks pretty good outside of that Try Gravity Beam idea.
So I guess something that I have been struggling with this deck is just surviving against really aggro-esque characters.
Sure.
28 health against the new Attack on Titan character cards that have like 30 and up health with those attacks. They kind of just sometimes blow me out disrespectfully.
Sure, that's fair.
And so I've slided things in like I guess not 30 health exactly, but there's creative strategist for like all these air-tuned discard from the card pool cards.
Yeah.
Some facing dangers just to set the damage to 5. Confused for just like any keyword with the new shift attack, if those ever became like real important.
Yeah.
Or just throw hate in general.
No, I agree.
And then where's your smile now for I'm blanking on the card's name.
Risky
That
encounter.
one card that you can play as a form. Yep, risky encounter.
Yeah. Yeah, I love this idea. Risky's very cool. So it's very smart. Okay, so we're just looking for defense, which I can help with. I can help with for sure. Did she got air stuff. So we do have some air attuned ideas that we get to play with here. So void air, and then let's do actions assets first because I like our attack lineup. It's pretty locked in. What assets are we playing? Can't get this one, but we can get those ones. Interesting. There's going to be a Knots Flask character, an air Knots Flask character that plays strategic maneuvers. That's going to be one of the most annoying decks of all time.
I can see that.
You already have Genkais in the sideboard? No, you got Genkais in the main. Yo, strategic maneuvers, psychic spirit class. Whoa. Form.
No, I totally skipped over Psychic Spirit class.
Form. Put this thing in. Form. Clear it. So there's an idea. You ready? There's an idea where maybe we are supposed to play like. I'm going to put this here. And I'm going to put this in here. What if we are supposed to play like 4 copies of strategic maneuvers and make this like a pretty asset heavy deck, right? 4 Flask. And then 4 or 1 copy of Psychic Spirit Class to like get rid of their hand as well. Like this saves a ton of damage if you get them out, right? And this just being able to go and grab them from the discard pile is like it's pretty good. Like the 1 strategic maneuver
I'm
says
certainly down to try that out.
I grab a
that does sound really fun.
Yeah. And so like we do this. I think in order to make this happen though, because this is a lot, we might have to like take the Genkai's guidance and like get rid of it.
Sure.
Or maybe even you ready? Like we could do like 3 strategic, but man, I think that psychic building in Psychic Spirit Glass on your offensive turn just like you just kill them, right? Like you check the Spirit Glass and you just like maneuvers it in. That seems nuts.
Is there an idea with that as well on Golden Death? Was it a Godzilla action that also removes a card from their hand?
Golden Death. If there are 2 or more attacks in your card pool, they remove a card from their hand. And then form remove, name a card type. I mean this one's cool too. But this one is this is on their turn, right? As opposed to this one is on your turn. Right?
Sure.
And this is they can't play the revealed card rather than them actually getting rid of it. So maybe this card's actually worse because of the fact that like when I make them discard a card with borrowed, they just pick that one, right?
Yeah, that does seem to.
It does muck up the timing a little bit. I'm gonna put this in the sideboard just to talk about it a bit. But I do think that like I think strategic maneuvers Knots Flask is like a really easy way to just stay alive.
For sure, that on damage reduction plus deflect 4 on acid screen.
Yes.
It's like a lot of damage reduction.
Combined with like I will block and elasticity as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will facing danger and make it a 5 damage move. Alright, I'll Knots Flask for -3. You hit me for 2, dude. Good job.
Exactly.
Everybody here is proud of you. Yeah, I think this is neat. I do worry about 12 non-core cards. Core being attack and foundation cards. I think I'm going to trademark that as attacks and foundations are core cards. Love it. I'm worried about the core 12 non-core cards. But I think that just depending on like how big this is might determine like what you're doing, right? Like how big do you want this number to be?
So I've been used to like bigger size decks in general. Whenever I'm deck building, I don't have like a specific number. Like I'm fine settling at somewhere around like 70, 75 cards.
Okay.
But I'm also willing to go down to
Let's
Whatever you would
try for
suggest.
70. Let's try for it, right? Man, it's tough to look at this and look at this and be like, well, one of them has to go, or look at this and look at this and be like, one of them has to go, especially because like we're trying this tactic. I think I'm just gonna cut the
You
Genkais.
think maybe it's also vertical maneuvering equipment, because that's also momentum out when I already have momentums outs with Twin Swords, Ice Art Execution, and Hacker Extraordinaire.
Man,
Like maybe there's not enough momentum to go around.
VME is just like a broken card and shouldn't exist. So like sometimes you play VME just to fight their VME, but at the same time, we are playing. We could just play the hacker and say they don't get to play them, right? And also like we don't care about their speed. Like defensively, we don't care about their speed if they don't have. We don't care about our speed, like using this card offensively, if they just don't have a hand, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's cut it, and because we're testing this idea, but maybe it goes back in. Maybe this is like it's a 3-1 split rather than, you know.
Sure.
So now 10 non-core cards, I think is great. I think it's great. On to now foundations. Let's just see. I like acrobatic as a card a lot. What is our saving Bakugo is also? Oh, you're playing it at 4 of. Yeah, I really like acrobatic as a defensive idea. And again, if our job here is to kill their hand, then easily excited is not very good. Right? If the goal here is they just can't block, then easily excited is not there. I'm going to put this at a 2 of, and I'm going to put this in at a 2 of, because blocking with this card and just removing it is great, and it also is -1 speed to help you try and block.
Right, that makes sense to me.
Yeah. 1. This text below, it's printed to get stuff. No. Remove a card from your card pool, draw a card. So interesting.
So that's whenever I use Nagant's responsibility, add a card inside the card pool, and then I battle for dominance to remove it and draw 1 card.
So cool. I'm in. How do we make this a 4? It probably is fine at 3, but that's just really cool. It's very smart. It's intelligent. Four practicals is a lot of practicals.
So I had practicals in there just because a little bit early in the deck I was looking for a deadlock, which I don't know if I've added sufficient enough deadlock that I can maybe remove some of the practicals for anything.
Fruits is the best deadlock in one of the best deadlock abilities in the entire game, because it forces them deeper into deadlock. Because they build a card from their hand face down, which is both hand control and right. Like it does both the things that you want your deck to do. How many fruits are we playing? Just the 2?
Yep.
What's our block zones look like? I mean, it might just be like we go 3 and 3 on each, right? 3
I'm
here,
down for that.
And then 3 here. This also like fights assets, but like we don't have to fight assets at all. You're the void symbol. They'll never have an asset. Assets are illegal against your deck.
Pretty much.
2 diffs. This card is crazy as a defensive piece. I'll put it in your sideboard. Flip this deck. It's -2 speed. If it's completely blocked, draw a card is like insane. It's just super, super good. Love the pressure. Rifle arm probably should exist as a 4 of in your deck somehow. I don't know how to make it a 4 of, just because of block
I really liked
coverage.
the card when I played it, but yeah, I agree. I don't know where I would put it.
It might be like an elasticity at a 3 of, rifle arm at the 3 of, just to keep our block zones a little clean. Like I guess we're a little low on highs now. What high did we lose? I didn't take some.
We lose easily excited.
Easily. Let's 74 cards. That's so many. Maybe we look at our mids. Lessons from Tayaki probably should leave. I think this card is not good enough.
Okay.
I think that your cancel on face is probably enough, right? I get
Yeah,
why it's
it
here,
was.
right?
Yeah, it was just in there mostly for like deadlock when I was playing earlier drafts in the deck and I didn't have like outstanding deadlock. They would just build to more than 10, and then there's really nothing I can do about it. I do agree that I have sufficient deadlock with Fruits of Our Labors and
Practical.
the other card. Yep, yeah. Can't Escape Me, etc.
Yeah, Can't Escape Me is also huge, right? Yeah. I think that Facing Danger is a very cool sideboard card. And with us putting in more Knots Flask, I think that we get to stretch our life total a little bit higher. I think this is just an easy cut to try and put more high blocks back in our deck because we are saturated on mids. And this existing at the 2 of in the sideboard is A-okay. Right? So now we're down to 71. We can just put 2 high blocks back in our deck, even if it's just these 2 Exciteds, just to build out easier. That might be like, this might just be enough, you know?
Right.
The Big Fall. There's an idea where playing Bring It On is pretty good. A reusable, if they add a card to their hand, they discard it, is pretty good.
I didn't think about that. My idea with also just like on Nagant, you can cancel their draw abilities just on face.
Yeah. So they cancel the draw ability on face, but this says if they draw 1, we don't have to waste the Nagant thing. Like, what if they decide to use a damage reset, or they decide to use a speed reset, or whatever, right? We can save this one because this one's once per turn cycle, right? Mine and yours, because we have to commit, rather than this is also once per turn cycle, but on a foundation auto character, right? I actually like this a lot, and we should probably, we'll cut this back down to the 3 of and see what happens. So difficulties here. This is actually pretty good on spam. Nice. That's pretty good. Hackers, fine. Pass through walls probably should exist in your sideboard at some point. If you're looking to fight Mikasa, locking the building is just the answer under the void symbol. Like, this card is just like so free under the void symbol. Destroy after an attack is played. It can't leave the card pool during the combat phase.
Right.
I got you for 3 minutes. There's also an idea where instead of like citywide, we play this card. We play the Bring It On, and so like or citywide in your sideboard. But like citywide has that extra defensive ability of the destroy.
Yeah.
So it just like it just depends, right? But this one is playable not during their turn, or not during your turn. This says response commit after rival adds a card to their hand due to their non-character ability. They discard a card, only 1. So if they draw on their turn, which is like when they're going to mostly be drawing, we get to respond, Bring It On, and discard it, rather than this one's only on your turn.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I can see that.
So it just depends on how.
Plus, it's that same high block too, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not
this one
mistaken.
just has the playable committed ability, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like this is your choice of which one do you want, Citywide Crisis or Bring It On, or it is totally possible just to play both. That is okay too. But I just wanna point it out that like their Venn diagram is very, very close to a circle for that response.
Right.
Exhausted exclamation. What are your thoughts on this card?
So I had that card as a one of inside the main deck. I truthfully just never saw it.
Sure.
And it eventually just got cut out for something else.
Okay. My other card is just Influence in the Youth. I'm such on an Influence in the Youth kick. This card is a foundation version of this card. So it sits in your stage and it waits. So if they have
I just didn't know where to put that card in.
Yeah, I think it might just be a sideboard idea of like if their board is if they have more answers on their board than you can fight, like if you're fighting a life deck, for example, right, where they're down to pick up multiples of the same cards, they're not flipping very much stuff. That's not like speed hate, but we don't care about speed hate, right? Like,
Right.
we just like play influence in and be like, actually, all of your incredible displays, turn those 2 incredible displays sideways. Okay, you don't get to rebounce your blocks, right? Feels pretty good.
Right.
Petty squabble is not a bad idea, but I don't think you necessarily need it. If you ready? If you cared about, so you had Teaki, whatever in your deck, you should have just been Teaki Fanatic, because this deadlock is way better for your deck.
Yeah,
and it
that
does.
makes
It
sense.
just does the same thing of just like it responsibly cancels the destroy rather than on.
It's a better cancel, better deadlock.
Yeah, it's just like a better card in general. But yeah. Spooky. No, I think this is looking clean. I hate this number, but I get that like you got to figure out what it is that you like and you don't like.
Right.
And like you're trying to grind out and you want a bunch of foundations so that you can kill them with this card.
Exactly.
Yeah. We could, man, I want to cut one of these. I think two is something.
That's fine. I just what are your thoughts on like the ratios on like a 72 card deck and 21 attack?
That is the reason it's not being cut, right? Is our ratios here? This is just actually too low, right? And so we're gonna keep this in just so you can attempt to see orange cards. But when you start to like, your goal here should be to start cutting as you're like, man, acrobatic sucks and Tam is an idiot. I'm gonna cut this from my deck. Okay, when you start cutting and you get down to it, when you cut 4 cards and you're in your 60s, right? Kill one of these, because the goal should be that your attacks, the attacks that you play, should be more potent because they don't have cards to defend themselves with, right? You don't have to play through a bunch of block mods or a bunch of blocks. They just hit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Is there anything else that I can answer for you, like question-wise?
I'm trying to think. I guess no, not at the moment. You pretty much did a pretty good job with what I asked of you.
Yeah, the only other thing that I could maybe see us looking at when it comes to cards is maybe prone to dry eyes, because
Really?
there are going to be turns where you get stuck with cards in your hand and you want to discard them, and this says discard 1 for plus stats to everything, and when your goal is to play 3 attacks, it's discard a card for plus 3 damage, right?
Okay. Right.
Yeah. And it can snowball and be like pressure for all for 1 isn't a 3 damage, it's 4 damage and then 5 damage and then 6 damage if I'm like discarding the bonus cards, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And being like, you ready? So like here's a sick play. I Nagant and I play my card out, and then I use my 1 prone. So I'm down from 6 cards to 5 cards, and this is a 3 high for 4, which is a respectable move. I don't clear it. I borrowed goods. They discard a card, and then I get my momentum. This is a 3 for 5. I discard another one. It's a 3 for 6. We haven't even pressured yet. And then I slicer. Right. And then this comes in as a 2 low for 6. and it combos so the next one gets more. And then I'll discard for prone. So I've discarded now. I have one last card in my hand. It's Try Gravity Beam, and they discard another card. So I've discarded a card here. I discarded a card here, and I've given off of my prone with the 3 cards that I had in my hand because I got this free attack from her. I think it's like +7 damage off of discard 3 cards.
Right.
And that's not including.
And that specific lineup too.
Yeah.
If you don't clear the card with Nagant, you just get to draw the card back, one of those cards back that you discard, because it's either clear a card or a draw a card. Yeah.
Correct. And that's if like we don't have the borrow goods to make the play happen, right?
Yeah.
And it's like really good whenever you like unexpected outcome, and it's like, hey, this is a 10 for 9, and then when I rip the card out of their hand, it gets the stats off of it as well because it's another free attack. So like you get the 2 for 1 again.
Right.
Yeah. But again, I don't know where to put it. It's just like as you clean stuff out and you're like, man, elasticity is not doing it for me. Maybe find the room. Strategy maneuver should be a 2 of. Okay, maybe toss in the prone or something. You know, I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah. All right, buddy. If that is it, stay on the line long enough for me to shoot you the list, and you have a good rest of your night. Okay.
Yeah, you as well. Thank you for all your help.
Thank you for the support on Patreon. I couldn't do this without you.